I have a little confusion here. As it is stated in purport, everything that exists is situated in that Brahma Jyoti, but when the Jyoti is covered by illusion or sense gratification, it is called material. So I was thinking that if everything is exists in is situated in the Brahma Jyoti, that what about that merging into the Brahma Jyoti?
What about the?
Merging into the Brahma Jyoti.
Merging.
Yes, I little confused. Everything is there, already situated in the Brahma Jyoti.
Well, Krishna explains that. Sutre mani gana iva. You know that verse? Everything is resting upon me, like strings or pearls are strung upon a thread. So that thread is the Brahman. Krishna's energy is extended throughout the spiritual and material creation. And just like the painting rests upon the canvas, you understand? Below each painting there's a canvas. So Krishna's energy, Brahman and Paramatma, and ultimately his own self, is the canvas of all creation. Everything is resting upon him. So some people, they don't want to interact with the Supreme Person. They want to interact with the canvas, the Brahman energy. You understand? And some people, the Mayavadis, Monists, may think that that is the highest, that the personality is manifest by that impersonal energy. But the devotees, they don't have such a small fund of knowledge. The Brahman, or the energy, the Shakti of Krishna, that is resting upon him. But he is superior to that. Just like you, a person, are superior to your energy. You use your energy. So some people approach the Supreme Person with a poor fund of knowledge, and they want to merge into his energy or his Brahman situation. So they are transcendentalists, particularly if they're Brahmavadis and they see everything as the Supreme. But that is not recommended. One should go to the Supreme Person. Just like, say, material example. Some people say there's a very rich man, a lot of money. Some people, they go to that person for his money, but his relatives, his friends, his associates go to him for his personality. So those persons that go to the rich man for his money, he may give them some money out of his generosity, but they never get to know him. So the Brahmajyoti is the personal energy. Is that clearing up? What exactly your question again?
Yeah, I got clear the answer, but I asked that already everything is there on the Brahma, situated on the Brahma Jyoti. Then why there? What is the need of again merging into Brahma Jyoti? Like it is already.
Well, it's a matter of, as I said in the beginning, it's a matter of consciousness. You see, you can merge into the Brahman, the non-differentiated Brahman, if you have no attachment to the personality, but no attachment to the material manifestation. You understand? Because that Brahman, if you want to merge, is the null point between matter and spirit, you see. So yes, you can do that, but it's very boring. Just like you may be unhappy, you may have some bad friends that mistreat you, so then you go away to your room and sit quietly. I don't want to talk to anybody, let me sit down. So for 12 hours or maybe a day or two, you can sit on your own and feel relief. So you may go to the Brahman because I'm fed up with the material world. But it's far better that you get good friends and interact with them rather than sitting alone in a room. So if the soul enters the Brahman, he feels relief, mukti. But there's that verse in the Bhagavatam, Yene Ravinda Muksha Maninas, that those that attain Brahman by austerity and meditation on the Brahman, because they haven't taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, they fall down to the material world. So therefore, because you've got bad friends, you go back to your room and you say, I don't want to talk to anyone. But unless you know good friends, then you get bored and you'll go back out to your friends and they'll start insulting you and pushing you around again. So you may go from the Maya Shakti and suffering condition to Brahman, and you may be there for eternal time, for a very long time relative to the material world, but because you're not attached to the transcendental activities, or you have no knowledge of them, and you are a spirit soul, so the soul is naturally ecstatic, not static. You see, in the Brahman is static. He's thinking, just like you can slow the mind down, right, by chanting Om, fasting, slow the metabolism down, and you can attain samadhi in that way, right? But eventually you're going to have to come out of that. One of the main reasons is because you become a bit bored. Because as a soul you're meant for interaction, for activity, not for static vibration. So then you'll go out and you'll start playing pool with your friends again, reading the newspaper, talking about the World Cup or something like that. Because you found it boring. And therefore Prabhupada explained that many of these Mayavadis, they may get some Brahma Gyan in terms of Brahma Jyoti, but then they come out and they perform mundane activities, open a hospital, or they may become completely degraded and use any mystic power they have to manipulate followers and, open ashrams and seduce their followers and things and so on. So they come down to material activity because they haven't got attachment to Krishna. There's that verse also in the Bhagavatam, Atmaramas chamunayo nirgrantha apikukrame. So the Atmaramas, they may go, but Krishna is attractive even to the Atmaramas. And that is particularly relevant to the four Kumaras. They were Brahmavadis. You understand? You have to understand the difference between Mayavadi and Brahmavadi. A Mayavadi is fallen for the trickery of Shankaracharya. So he thinks everything is Maya, everything is illusion. Well, it is illusion, but it's material illusion, but not illusion in the sense of non-existence. It is a transformation and a temporary transformation of spiritual energy. So he's saying, but the Brahmavadi is, so he's running away to some voidistic or monistic conception and merging into the Brahman and thinking, oh, this is it. But the Brahmavadi is somebody who sees everything as Brahman. He's not thinking, I am God, or I'm becoming God by merging in the Brahman. He's saying, all this energy is Brahman. But he is not really having touch of the Supreme Person. So in the 3rd and 7th canto, the Kumaras were Brahmavadis, and then when they went to Vaikuntha, they were stopped by Giant Vijay. They gained attachment to Vishnu's lotus feet by smelling the sandalwood and the tulsi leaves on his feet. So then they enter the realm of pure bhakti, you see. So we cannot condemn. The Mayavadi we can say bad association because he's got poor fund of knowledge. He's thinking everything is illusion. This is Vaivartavad. It means, oh, it's not existing. What do you mean it's not existing? step in front of that bus and find out if it's existing or not. It's not just a dream that is, but it is temporary. It is asat. It is illusory because it's not permanent. So the Brahmavadi, though, he sees everything as Brahman and the energy of the Supreme, but he hasn't realized the Supreme Person yet. So that's a step far above the Mayavadi, who is denying the Supreme Person.
Thank you, Prabhu. I have one more small question. That as you mentioned that Bhakti Devi is having two childs or something like
Gyan and Vairag.
Gyan and Vairag. Like Gyan will arrive later. One has to.
No, Gyan gives Vairag. Gyan and Vairagya.
How both can go together? I wanted to know that.
Well, you could say Gyan is the elder son, because Gyan in that sense doesn't mean, it means to realize the Supreme or to touch the Supreme. So as soon as you touch the Supreme, you get the higher taste, and then automatically you become detached from material. Just like also Lord Chaitanya, this is Chetudapana Marjanam, when you clean the mind, Bhavmahani Nivapanam. So when you clean the mind, you become, the material agitation goes next. So how do you clean the mind? By bhakti process, by realization of the Supreme. Then automatically you become detached. You see. So this is the point, right? If you remember, we read those verses. Those that are realized, man of understanding, his work merges into transcendence. He automatically, this is the sign of a realized person. He's not interested in Dhanam Janam Sundarim, this material wealth and opulence and fame and fortune and the beautiful life. It's detached because it's got a better thing, you see. Just like if I put two plates before you, and you know this one is healthy and this is, you have the knowledge that this plate is full of healthy things, and this is unhealthy, right? Genetically modified food. Then which one will you take? You'll take the nice one, right? The tasty one. And this one, they give you cancer, give you birth and death, right? So by taking the good thing, you automatically detach from the bad thing. So by touching the Supreme through knowledge, through sadhana, through sadhusanga, you automatically become detached. But if you try to perform vairag without jnana, then you're just like I described. You're like that person. Oh, I don't like the material world. I'm going to sit under a tree and breathe once every half an hour. Right? So that's practically useless, you see. Because you're not getting the real attachment. Your activities are impelled by a desire to escape suffering. And the thing is, unless you get the better thing, unless you have a better plate of foodstuffs, prasadam, then because of hunger you'll naturally go to the GMO, right? The rubbish food, the artificial food. You see, because just like I say, if you go into your room, oh, I don't want to see anyone anymore. For 1 day or 2 days, maybe you can do that. But then you think, oh, well, I'll just argue back with them now. So you'll re-enter the material pool. So real vairag is based on spiritual realization. But falgun vairag is based, that means false, that is based on a repugnance for the material. Just like an alcoholic, he drinks alcohol, then he wakes up the next day and he says, I'll never drink again, right? So for 1 or 2 days he doesn't drink, but then he's addicted, right? So then he goes out and gets drunk again, even though he knows it's going to give him a headache and make himself stupid, right? So Krishna consciousness is the positive alternative. It's not just the midway. You know, like a musical note, it goes up and down, a sine wave. But it has a center point, right? So it goes up and down. So attraction and repulsion for the material energy is like that. It's like a pendulum. You may go to the middle point, but it's going to go the other way. So you find that. Sometimes people are very rich and famous, and then they look out of their hotel room and they think, oh, I wish I could just go for a walk without people asking for an autograph. Huh? You know? I wish I could just go to the beach and hang out with the wife and kids. But everyone comes there and paparazzi, you know, it's driving me crazy. Right? So they've attained material fame and fortune, and then they think, oh, I don't want it, it's no good. So the material world's like that. Therefore, acts for the bare necessities of life. Devotee is not interested in getting fame and fortune. So he knows, right? The material world is a foreign environment. So it doesn't matter if you go in the ocean, you're going to have to come out. You may enjoy going down and looking at the coral and dodging the sharks, but right? There are many sharks in the material world. So many dangers in the material world. So it's entertaining, but then I'm going to go back up on the beach and sit on the deck chair and drink lemonade. So the material world is meant to be uncomfortable. Come down here, enjoy, forgetful of Krishna, but eventually you think, I've had enough. Let me chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's the central bhakti process, hearing and chanting. And then, Krishna, then you're free. Okay? Any other questions? Satisfied? No? Okay.
Thank you for a very nice class, Prabhuji. You mentioned about the spectrum of consciousness. On one side is a person who brings a garland for the deities for the cricket match, and on the other side is the Uttam Adhikari. But in between is the big range in which all of us fall, and many of our spiritual activities are motivated, like supposing even fasting on Ekadashi, doing austerities in Kartik, is for some intention that at least Krishna will do something better for me, or at least remove the sins which I have already done in the past. So there is a big regret in the heart for the past, which is a motivation for doing spiritual activities. So does that also fall under Karma Mishra Bhakti? And then
that means you're not purified yet.
So what will bring...
So the point is, therefore, through hearing from the realized soul, reading the Acharya's purports and so on, you start to realize what I should be desiring. And then you start to edit that from your consciousness. You understand? This is an important point of sadhana bhakti. When you chant, you're watering the bhakti lata. But many things may prop up. When you throw water there, say you have a house plant, some weeds may start to grow. So if you continue bhakti process thinking, I'm going to be a famous devotee, I'm going to enjoy the spiritual world, this is like watering the weeds. So you have to distinguish through knowledge, through bhakti jnana, sambandha jnana, you have to distinguish from the potted plant and the weeds at the base. You understand?
But this transition of Karma Mishra Bhakti to Shuddha Bhakti will happen naturally by Krishna's grace?
But the thing is, you should sharpen the sword. You see, if you don't have knowledge, you may mistake. You may think, like we discussed this about 4 weeks ago. Some people come to Krishna consciousness and they think, I want to enjoy the spiritual world. So what is the difference between that mentality and thinking, I want to enjoy the material world? You're still becoming an enjoyer, and that is an artificial. Because Krishna is Purusha. We are Prakriti. Aparyam itaspamyam Prakriti vidime param. So we are Prakriti. We're not Purusha. But in the material world, we try to become the enjoyer. So we bring that to Krishna consciousness and we think, I'll go to the spiritual world and I'll enjoy. That means we still haven't understood. So therefore at the beginning we must have the right conception of what bhakti is and cultivate it very astutely. And bhakti means yajna, as Prabhupada says. And this whole point of the Gita, after this sloka, 25 to about 30, Krishna gives a whole load of yajnas, breathing, knowledge, charity, all that can be performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme. So it's the same question as 4 weeks ago when you said, we shouldn't hang on to that conception. We should develop seva bhava. I'm performing bhakti for the pleasure of Krishna. Just like if you feed the stomach a nice rasgulla, you will get energy in every part of your body. So the angsa, the soul, is meant to satisfy the Supreme, and then automatically he will become energized, spiritualized. But if the finger tries to enjoy the rasgulla, that is like material life. So in bhakti, we should understand very carefully that I'm chanting for the pleasure of Krishna. I'm coming to the Gita class, which is yajna, you're sacrificing, you'll hear about that, for the satisfaction of Krishna. I'm putting on tilak for the satisfaction of Krishna. I'm going to the temple, performing kirtan for the satisfaction of Krishna. I'm coming to the temple for darshan for the satisfaction of Krishna. You understand? You see, material consciousness is that self-centeredness. I am God, and everything I will enlist in my pleasure. I am the Purusha. I am the enjoyer. That is the knot in the heart, in the consciousness, that we try to use everything for our satisfaction. But the devotee is absorbed in satisfying the Supreme. You understand? When the gopis heard Krishna's flute song, they didn't run there just to enjoy. They went there, Krishna wants our association. Let's go there and serve him. So that is the real consciousness of the soul. But in contact with the material energy, tamagun, we forget Kamishra, we forget the Supreme. And then we just try to use everything for our satisfaction.
So will this transition happen by
That's
the process of bhakti itself, or we have to cultivate it actively, or Krishna?
So the thing, you've understood this point, but you have to contemplate this point and hold it in the heart, you see, and water that conception. Do you understand the point? Yes, don't feel bad about it. We all have this affliction, at least myself, because of many lifetimes in the material world. We're all afflicted with this. But by understanding, therefore Shravanam Kirtanam, by understanding, by getting some bandhagyan, knowledge of bhakti, then, if we just contemplate this idea, that contemplation, smaranam, on this point, will free us from that. You understand? That's why we should understand things very nicely. You understand? Therefore, so much explanation by the acharyas. Bhakti Vinod Thakur wrote hundreds of books. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta wrote hundreds of essays. Srila Prabhupada, 6 Goswamis, Satsandabas, right? So much. And explanation is very important. Or else we read the Bhagavatam and we think, look at the gopis going to enjoy with Krishna. It's just like people in this world. You understand? And then we will think that that means bhakti. It's just another way to enjoy. You see? That's why we need Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And if we study their purports, their explanations, then real bhakti awakens. Because the Swarup, we mentioned Swarup, the Swarup, Jivara Swarupoi Nityara Krishna Das. It is based on Seva Bhav, service attitude. If we go to bhakti and think I will enjoy, our Swarup will never manifest. Because our Swarup is our means of service in the highest and most intimate format. But we can practice Seva Bhav from any situation. But we must understand that. You can practice it yourself. If one day you're chanting, you know, I've got no taste. Then remember, oh, I'm not chanting for the pleasure of Krishna. And then try to hold that in your mind, and you'll immediately find, oh, I'm chanting, I'm getting some taste. You see? So the taste of Krishna consciousness comes through Seva Bhav, through offering yajna, the whole section here, right? Arjuna at the beginning was saying, what's good about this battle? But Krishna says, forget all that, just do your duty as yajna. And now he's giving him knowledge, you see, so he can do it, you see. So without the Brahma, Sambandha Gyan, spiritual knowledge, Bhakti Gyan, then our bhakti is not sharp. So we must learn the right paradigm, the right understanding of bhakti. And we should take a lot of effort to do that. Just like Prabhupada gives the example, well, it's a common example actually. Somebody may be cutting down a tree. Somebody comes along and he says, look, your saw is very blunt. It's going to take you 100 years to cut the tree because the saw, and you should sharpen the saw. Then the person may be very stupid and say, look, it's going to take me so long to cut down the tree, why should I stop and sharpen the saw? Understand the point? So if we come to bhakti without guidance, without spiritual knowledge, then we are like a blunt sword. Just like many people, they may come to the temple and for many lifetimes be offering garlands and asking for a new plasma TV. Or that, you know, my son will open a successful business. So they never get the taste of bhakti with such an attitude. And it can remain for hundreds of lifetimes like that. But then, by sadhu sangha, you can get the right idea. Sarvasiddhi hoy. So what do you get? You get the bhakti lata bij, the bhakti lata, the seed of devotion. Devotion means seva bhav. We're doing everything for Krishna's satisfaction. Then you're in transcendence. You may still be afflicted by these, like ghosts. Bhukti mukti spriha, right? These ghosts for enjoyment and liberation, they haunt the consciousness like ghosts. But if you wake up, then all the dream factors go away. Therefore, what did Lord Chaitanya say? Gopi bhata kamalayo dasa das anadas. I'm servant. Right? And who is Krishna? Krishna is the servant of everyone. Right? Yes, he's Supreme Lord. And we should never think, I'll make him my servant. But actually, everything is resting upon Krishna, right? As that devotee asked. Everything, Krishna is maintained. Why do we exist? Because we're resting upon Krishna. Huh? We're not existing independent of Krishna's influence. Right? We're resting upon Krishna. So, where's our obligation lie then? If we're existing by the grace of Krishna, are we not obliged to recognize that? So material life means I don't recognize that. You see, that's Tamishra, rebellion. So in the material world, everyone's rebellious. Oh God, don't talk about God. Talk about something else. Makes me uncomfortable. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya given Sankirtan. People hear the chanting and they wake up. So in the material world, everyone is rebellious. They all want to be a selfish enjoyer. But in the transcendental world, everyone is the unselfish servant. And that draws the reciprocation of Krishna. But that's not the purpose, right? Just like Prabhupada gives the example in the material world of a mother and the child, right? The mother is always acting for the child, right? The welfare of the child. Is the child comfortable? Is it too hot? Is he well fed? Is he in danger? Is he safe? She doesn't really think. She hears the child crying in the night and she wakes up to feed the child. She doesn't think, oh, this is giving me a headache, shut up, put the earplugs. No, she automatically goes to serve the child. And she gets great happiness, right? She's feeding the child and she says, oh my darling, not passing stool, this is sandalwood. Right? I'm not a mother, but maybe in 100 lifetimes. Right? So the mother thinks like that, right? My child is the most beautiful in the whole world. Right? So, the devotion, so Prabhupada gives that as a material example, you see. Mother just focused on the child. And the husband feels, oh my God, I was the hero before. Now my wife is just paying attention to the kids. And he starts to think, before I was the king, now the baby's the king. And I'm the servant. Well, wake up. So, anyway, that's a material example. So, we should understand that and contemplate that. I'm chanting, I'm studying for the satisfaction of Krishna. Right? I'm not opening the Bhagavad Gita at home and thinking, I'm going to be really smart when I understand this. No, I'm thinking, when I read this, my spiritual master will be pleased with me. Krishna will be pleased with me. There's a story about Prabhupada in Hawaii. There was Prabhupada used to like translating and purporting in Hawaii. So every morning he'd go for a walk for health and exercise and so on. So there was one devotee, he was making the garden nice, and every morning Prabhupada, with all the big sannyasis, would go by. So, Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada. Then one morning that devotee was sitting there reading the Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada stopped. The other mornings he didn't stop. I said, this is very good. She's pleased. Right? How do you please Krishna? How do you please the great Acharya? Just read. But do it, understanding that. Prabhupada spent, Look at all the work that Prabhupada produced. Huh? So if you want to please Prabhupada, very easy, read his books. You will please Krishna, all their disciplic succession, right? So that's, but then you have you have that in your mind when you're doing it, you see. Then it becomes more potent. Then the saw is cutting the attachment to what you described, you see. That kind of enjoying mood, you see. So it's there, don't worry about it, don't be embarrassed. We're all afflicted by our material conditioning. But if we have the right idea, then we can become free. Like it says here, you know, all the paraphernalia, the offering, the soul becomes spiritualized and you become more and more absorbed. And then you attain the spiritual kingdom. But it's a matter of knowing, is sharpen the sword, cut the knot. Srila Prabhupada Sadhu Sangha Bhagavad Gita ki.